Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another wonderful, wonderful episode with Hayley and Kayli. Today, we're talking about Insidious.
The Red Door.
Again.
What's again?
Another red door. Sorry.
But yeah, today we're talking about that movie because why not? Are you a fan of Insidious?
I am. I remember watching when I was in
High school?
Yeah, was it high school?
It has to be.
Yeah, it couldn't have been middle school. I don't think I can get in from that.
It was 2010.
Okay, 2010. So I was literally in ninth grade.
Yeah.
We're in ninth grade.
I remember I'm pretty sure we all went together.
Yep.
With our big group of friends being a freaking nuisance.
Just like the kids in the Insidious movie that we watched. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you too?
Yes. Okay. So we're in the damn theater and it's a more packed theater than normal. I'm so used to theaters being dead now. Like it's just like maybe 5 people there, but this one was pretty packed. And there were these teenagers in the way back. Thank God we were closer to the front because I would have been pissed. They're in the back. They're kind of yelling. They're giggling really loud. And they're like, some guy's like, shut up, bro. Like yelling to another guy from another row. And he's like, shut up. Oh my God. I was like, I'm so cringy. Even when I was younger, though, I was so cringe. Like, if I was with that group of kids, I would be so embarrassed. And it was embarrassing. We're trying to watch this movie, and it's not even the fun type of commentary. Like, you know, every now and then if it's like a hype theater, and you could just fit. Like, I think when I went to Avengers Endgame or whatever, one of those, like, the whole theater was hype. So it's not like people were like...
It's a different
feeling. No, this was not hype. We're trying to watch the movie, and it's like them dumbass kids in the back. And I was like, oh, my gosh. What are y'all, 12? Who let you in here?
Honestly.
Don't you got to be 17 and up? Ain't no way y'all are all...
I thought it was a PG-13. It's PG-13.
Not me thinking it was R. Okay, so they're 12 and 13, or I guess 13. So anyway, but you too?
Sorry, you caught me in a swallow. Yes. So we went at 5 p.m. On a Tuesday.
And they were still there?
That's what I was thinking. I thought we were going to avoid folks,
summer.
but it's summer. And there's like a part where a monster popped up. I think it was in the MRI machine, like whenever he was in there. And somebody was like, oh, so scary. I wanted to get up.
They did the voice?
Yeah, they said it just like, oh, so scary.
Did they like giggle? They thought they were funny?
They thought so. And then there's one girl, I think this might just be how she yells, but she sounded like she was like in a movie. Like it was one of those perfect like, ah! Like it sounded like that every time she yelled. So I'm like, I kind of want to rewatch this movie because I feel like I'm very influenced by my environment. If I'm not in a good environment, then my whole thing is kind of fucked. And I was trying so hard not to be bothered. But like this movie was kind of slow. There's like lots of moments where things weren't really happening. And I could feel it. Like I was like, they're going to say something. They're going to say something. Like I was like, ooh, hurry up. Like I wanted it to go faster. So I'm like,
you just were cringing.
You
were like waiting for the next moment.
Exactly. They finally like calmed down eventually. And there's like one moment that's kind of funny. Like the guy was like, I would rather watch my parents have sex. And that kid was like, ugh. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's funny. But everything else, I was just like, why I oughta? Ooh. This is birth control for me. I don't want kids.
You're like, I don't want these kids because they're going to turn into that.
I got 3 cats.
13 years.
And they're annoying. And then these humans in real life, when I saw them outside the theater, I mugged them. I was like, what's wrong with y'all? So, Insidious, not the last door.
Not the last door. Did you stay for the after scene?
Girl, I could have left.
You could have left.
There was whenever you told me that, because we didn't go together for the first time in a while, but she's like, stay for the after credits. And me and Tristan are like, we stayed for this.
What? They're just letting you know that it's going to be another movie.
There could be a potential.
That door won't close. We'll get into that.
But basically what this one's about, we're following the family, the Lambert family from the first 2 movies. And they're now, after the second movie, you know, all that drama that happened in there, they're grown up. They brought back some of the original cast, which was really cool. The son was the original one, and then the parents.
Took me to the end to realize that kid.
It was the same kid?
Well, I was like, this man is old. I literally thought he was like 30 something. Like I thought he was older than what he was, and I was like, oh, this is the original kid.
The original one.
He looks so like he looks the same but so different at the same time.
Yeah. So I thought it was really cool. So we're following our Lambert family after the events of the first 2 movies. They've been going through it. They've gotten a divorce. The kids don't really like see him, I guess. I don't know why he's not really involved, but yeah, that's basically what we're exploring is the dynamics of that family afterwards. And if this is like the last time we're going to see them, I think it might be the last time we see the Lambert family as a whole. I'll get into why.
I don't think so.
Well, So Patrick Wilson, who plays the dad in this movie, also directed this movie. It was his directorial debut. Yeah. And so he was saying, they're asking him if he was planning on making another one. He was like, I think this is Josh Lambert's final thing. He's like, he already in the first movie went to go save his son. Then he got stuck and had to be saved. And now he like tried to save his son again. He's like, there's nothing else that Josh Lambert can do. So he's like, but maybe we'll come back and follow Callie, the daughter, when she goes to school. So that's like what he's like, maybe they'll do. But it looks like this might be it for the Lamberts for a little bit.
But not of Insidious, because
probably not Insidious.
The end scene, I was like, but that's what confused me, because it seemed like, oh, they didn't really seal the door again. So I'm like, are we going to do this again?
Yeah, girl, I hope not.
I'm confused. That sounds like they didn't do it. How are we wrapping this up if the door keeps opening? You know what I mean?
That's true.
And then, because clearly that demon loves them.
Yeah.
So it's not like, unless the demon decides it wants to go somewhere else, but this demon has literally decided.
Like, obsessed with y'all.
He wants to take over one of this family lineage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do you mean? I have no reason to believe this demon's going after anybody else unless they, I guess, go with the daughter. But then it's still not wrapped up, because the dad's going to just have to save her ass. Or the brother.
I don't know.
Anyway.
So, overall thoughts. Haley, what'd you think of this one?
I thought it was a solid movie for like a horror film. Do I think that in this series, I don't think it was like better
than the
other ones. I don't even know if this movie was needed.
Go over which ones you've seen of the Insidious franchise.
Seen the first Insidious, and then because there's the lady who's the older lady who kind of helps them.
Yep, Elaine.
So I've seen the ones with that family in it, because I think, was there more than one or just one of them?
There's two. It's
two of
chapter 2.
Okay. And then I saw the one where the older lady, what was her name you said?
I think it's Elaine.
Elaine, yeah. Where Elaine, where's that from The Conjuring?
Girl, let me look.
Because I low-key got The Conjuring.
Elise.
There we go, Elise. She went to go help another girl. I think it was Insidious 3.
Yep.
And I think I've seen all of them, except for
the fourth one, The Skeleton Key.
I don't think I saw that one.
I haven't seen that one either.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, the other ones are kind of cool. I guess with this one, it just, nothing was new. I felt like, once again, we're dealing with the same red door. Like, the son was stuck again, and the dad had to go get the son. That was it. I mean, other than that,
point blank period.
Yeah, it was a little slow at times, and the son was getting on my nerve. I mean, I guess they were having issues, and
boy, the son was coming for his throat.
They were pressed. Oh, he was so mad, but they were like repressed to their thoughts.
Ooh, deep thinking makes her yawn.
It does. But yeah, he was like repressed, so they forgot. But then the dad, I don't know. It just was like, okay, it was an interesting dynamic, but I just feel like, once again, the son was captured by the same demon, and his dad had to come get him out. So I just don't know I don't know if anything was learned here. I don't know if we really got anywhere with this, other than the fact that it was like a father-son movie and they kind of understood each other at the end. But I'm like, I just feel like, once again, then the end credits, the door was like opening again. So I'm like, did they really seal this? Are they really defeating this demon? What's the point? Are they learning anything from this? Are they learning to control being in the further? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I guess I just was missing, where does this fit in a scheme of things? I don't know, other than the fact that maybe it's just a story about a son and his father, and there's that. But I'm like, you can have that, but still progress a story. So I guess that's what I was missing. But I mean, I still liked it. I thought it was good. It had some good jump scares for sure. You know, we learned a little bit more about the dad's dad, the grandpa, because, you know, he apparently was thought to have had some mental health issues, but it turned out he was just going the further.
Yep.
I felt like,
or his mental health was further declining.
Ooh, that was awful. Anyways, so I wish we dive more into that, and maybe, like, if they start going in the history of things, and maybe start, like, I think I would like that, or even if they had a movie with his dad.
Yeah, that could be good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's time to see some other perspectives, because the son keeps getting got, and I'm tired of him getting got. Did he get got in the second one too?
No.
Who got in the second one? Just the dad?
It was the dad.
Who got him out?
The son.
The son did? Okay.
And like, there's like the old guy in the beginning when he went to the funeral. He's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Carl." He helped out too.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I guess that was my overall thing. So I thought it was a solid movie, but I guess I just was not. It just didn't seem like it just seemed like it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
as the other ones. So what are your thoughts?
So Insidious, for me, I've never been like obsessed with it. Like, I like the Conjuring franchise a little bit more. I think that one, to me, I just am intrigued by that storyline a little bit more. But so I did rewatch the first two. I didn't see the other ones. But the first two I really did like. The second one was actually probably my favorite one. But with this one, I feel like it's very tricky to do something like this where it's like the audience already knows the whole story, but our main characters don't know. So it's like we spent the majority of the time with them still in the dark, and it's like, bitch, we already know. Someone just tell them. But I feel like the dynamic and also like the storyline in general is something interesting to kind of explore, because the whole second movie, the dad is possessed, but nobody really knows what's going on with him. He just starts acting crazy, and then he tries to kill his whole family. With that happening, that is interesting. Like, what do you do from there? And it's like, even at the end of the second one, the wife was still kind of skeptical. She's like, I don't know about this.
She's been through hell and back. She's like, not
she's
again.
over it. And then, so I can understand why they would even get a divorce. And then like him discovering that she kept like this big secret from him about like how he's been repressed, like with his memory, but like he made that decision, but she couldn't tell him anything about it. I think it has interesting topics to explore, but I just don't think it was done in like the best way. I feel like this movie was very surface level with a lot of different things. And it was just like, it was just interesting how the dad was like, yeah, my memory's been a little fuzzy. And the son was like, have you like talked to someone? He's like, oh, I guess I could. It's like, why wouldn't you think about going there first?
Yeah.
So it was just, I feel like it was like it was a little bit of a letdown. It was exciting because it's like they brought the original cast back for the storyline. There was even like those two dudes that they were watching the YouTube channel with.
Yep,
they were in there too. And like, so it was cool. And even Elise to see her again. And it was just like, it was cool that they were able to get everybody back there and involved. But I just feel like we didn't do anything. And so it's just like a little disappointing again. I'm just disappointed all the time. It's just so sad. Sorry. At this point, I'm tired of seeing movies.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's got its formula, but yeah, I'm like, if we're gonna start branching or doing kind of like a Conjuring thing where everything comes together, it just seems like, yeah, we need to go somewhere with this movie.
Yeah.
And then if you're gonna say it might be the last one for this family, I'm like, y'all didn't wrap it up at all. I don't feel like this was wrapped up. You have the scene at the end where the door's still busting open, and then Elise comes at the end and is like an angel, and she's like, you have so many things good coming, or you're gonna do great things. So it seems like they're setting it up for another storyline, but then for them to go, maybe we'll wrap it up. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't wrap it up. It wasn't wrapped. The demon's still coming through. So he's just gonna pick somebody else now, I guess, to come possess and be wild.
So let's talk about the lipstick demon. Are we happy that they brought him back too?
The original red one?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're doing something with the storyline, but it seems like he keeps coming out, gets got, they throw him back, he's mad for like 10 years and comes back. Like, I guess, or are we gonna learn more about him? Are we gonna learn
he's obsessed with his family?
Yeah, like I just feel like, okay, we could have did a little more learning here. I feel like I didn't learn much except for we learned about the grandpa, and that was kind of random. How did he not even know?
Yeah,
was it so whenever he was in, I think, his house, and his dad's spirit came back and was like kind of haunting him, and he went in the closet and it kind of like he got pushed, and then the old box fell on him. I'm like, you're telling me this is the first time he's seen this at all?
Yeah.
And I guess his mom kept it from him, but I was just like, I don't know. It just seemed very like they're trying to like throw everything in this. It just it just didn't flow very well.
It didn't fit.
Know,
but it's also like him being, the dad was like, it ends with me. And it's like, well,
not really.
I guess you didn't know that you got knocked up, because it definitely wouldn't end after that.
No. Yeah, it didn't. And then I guess he was trying to end it, but he didn't do too much out there in the first. He was just like, thanks for bringing me. What did he bring him? Oh, he brought him that like picture. He brought him something from the world.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks. Now I can move along. He's like, oh. And I was like, he said,
bye, buddy.
Yeah.
Hope you find your dad.
Hope you find your sanity. Yeah. He's like, sorry about that. So that's why I think I was just kind of like, okay. Like I feel like we didn't go anywhere with that. Like we did, but we didn't.
Yeah.
I felt like we needed to dive in more. Is it the whole family? Did it start with his dad?
Yeah. Did the rest of the kids not experience anything?
Yes. What about the other kids? Did the demon pick this family for a specific reason?
Because
or is there something special about them?
They're always targeted. Like even Josh, like the dad, he was targeted by the woman in black or the lady in black. And that's like those photos that you see in the first two where he's like being like the lady's getting closer and closer in those pictures. So it's like, was the dad also chosen to like by some kind of spirit from the further? Like, why do they keep getting targeted?
Well, I guess it's because not everybody has the gift. So in order to possess somebody, it's a lot easier when they are
gone.
Yeah. What do they call that when they're kind of coming out of their own body?
Astral projection.
Yeah. It's a lot easier when people can astral project themselves. So I think that's why they're targeted. And it seems like the more powerful ones are obviously going to be more aggressive. But I guess I'm like, well, they just want to wreak havoc. I don't know. I'm like, what's the hierarchy of the demon world? Because you have like people spirits, and then you have like actual demons, right? So like the difference between that, and then they keep saying that like the red demon's super strong, but he keeps getting
obviously
got.
not, because all you gotta do is just paint a painting.
Yeah, and then the painting was supposed to be like
that whole thing.
I thought they were gonna go more with his art that they didn't do. Like his art teacher, I thought she was gonna be like really. They were going to bring her more into the movie, and she didn't. Like, I don't think she looked at his art besides like the first. She was like, yeah, rip it up. And then he's
first of all, so pretentious.
Yeah.
That whole thing. She's like, you have to learn the rules to break the rules. I'm like, oh, God.
Boo. Boo.
But I honestly kind of sided with that first guy who led.
He was
He's
like, the hell?
why am I ripping this shit up? This is
like,
my best
ma'am, you made me do this. I'm not ripping this up.
And he's like, but honestly, he broke her rules. So shouldn't he still be in the class?
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean? She was talking about breaking rules. He said, I'm not breaking it. I'm not ripping my shit. And she's like, get out. You're done.
She ain't like that.
But and also like, isn't it kind of weird that the teacher was like kind of hypnotizing the students a little bit?
Yeah, she's like 10. And then it was the same hypnotization
as the other one,
as he was experiencing the first time. And so he was like brought back into it. And I was like,
interesting.
Okay. I just thought it might go more,
and the fact that it affected both of them though at the same time, because like whenever he opened the door, I guess it opened the door for the dad too.
Oh, it just started. They're connected, I guess.
Yeah,
the portals. I don't know.
See, like, why don't we talk anything else? Like, talk about anything else with this? Why y'all do this, or you know, how to like really stop it? Because now that the memories have flooded back in, what are y'all going to do now? Because now y'all still just going to be seeing ghosts everywhere.
So now what? You open the door. So is the door going to be open? Because now that you guys remember, are you? Yeah, that's why I was like, we didn't close anything. Clearly the door's going to bust back open. You're going to have problems again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I was just left wanting a little bit more, not answers, but it's time to continue to move the storyline along. Yeah. It just felt like it was more about the relationship between the son and the father, and that was kind of it.
Which could have been good.
Which was interesting. I like the angle, but let's also push the storyline. It just felt like the storyline was surrounded. The storyline was centered around the father-son relationship more.
But I mean, I like the whole, because the first one is about family, right? Like, I mean, the first two, I think, I don't know how any of the other ones really go, but I think family is the lens that they're looking through. But I feel like there has to be some kind of balance between, we're talking about the family dynamic, but also like exploring more about what the further is, how we can explore the further in a safer way. Like, there has to be a way for you to astral project without drawing attention to like,
because how inhabitants. Fun for you to do, but then you can't because like you're gonna get
we've talked about this before with behind her eyes with astral projection. Do you think astral projection is like, you think you could really do it in real life?
I mean, from what people have said, yes. Even when people are in the hospital, because I don't even think it has to be of a necessarily gift. Like, I'm sure some people might have a gift, like when they're dreaming. I've heard of people say that. But even when people are on the verge of death, like they say they've lifted out their body and they are hovering and they can see the doctors and hear the conversation and that. So I'm like, is that astroplaning, or is that more of like you're literally just dying? But then there's people who go to sleep and then they swear that they watch themselves sleep and they can kind of move around the house. So I don't know, but I wouldn't put anything past it. I think some people probably can.
I feel like it would be kind of cool.
I would hate that.
I would be scared.
I would hate that. I think if I came out of my body and I was like just roaming around a dark house in my spirit form, honestly, terrifying.
That is kind of spooky.
I don't.
But if you could go anywhere else though, like fly around, see what everybody else is up to.
That would be cool, except like I'm scared that I have to come back. Like, do I come back or do I just
what are the rules?
Up?
Right.
Yeah. I need a guideline.
Yeah.
You know, do I have a 30 minutes? Like, what's my time frame? Can I come back? Is
There's got to be a book somewhere.
Am I come back? Something's hovering over my body, trying to take over.
Ooh, girl. It's over.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not. I just don't know if I'm gonna get in that. Just like in Behind Her Eyes.
Yep.
She said, "Yeah, let's astral plane," and they switch fucking bodies. Switch. Ooh, that was such a good twist. The show wasn't my favorite, but
the book was so good.
Was delicious. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
That was such a good book.
That was such a twist. I was shooketh. I knew something was happening, but that is not what I thought was happening.
You know it.
That was wild.
Astral projection it's a cool concept. I think it could be freaky, like if that is something that really happens, where you leave your body and it leaves it open for others to try to enter it.
That would be,
because wouldn't that be like what demon possession kind of is?
Maybe. And maybe that's what they do. Like maybe because in every movie it's like the demon has to break down the sanity, and I wonder if that's a way to separate you from your body so they can. So it's maybe not all movies are astral projecting or whatever, but like maybe it is something of you kind of have to separate the soul from the body and break that down so then you can kind of slide in. So maybe it's all versions of that.
Possession. You think that could actually be a thing?
Why not?
Would you even know if you were possessed?
I think so. Or maybe not. You know, maybe like towards the end, like you figure something's happening. But
yeah,
because me and James were watching The Conjuring again because we watched Insidious and we were like, we should watch The Conjuring. So I think we watched the first two, though they're based on real stories.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, well, I don't know. Like even in the second one, they had like the real life pictures side by side. And there's one where the little girl's seemingly, I mean, either she jumped or not, we don't know. She's seemingly levitating.
Yep.
And I'm like, listen, I know people do hoaxes all the time,
which is why it's like you can't trust everything you see, but it's also like there's so much about this world and even our brains that we don't understand. And it's just like, why couldn't things happen? But even if like, let's say I believe in something happening like that and it's like a placebo, but if it's real to me, doesn't that matter? You know what I mean?
Because it's in your mind.
Right.
It's your reality.
I've built this reality that this is what I can do.
I don't know.
But then, like, does that mean it's real, or is it just like all fake and I made it up?
Or it's real to you, so it's real,
right? But
at all,
I don't know. Things are just so freaky.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because when you look at the cases, because there are real life cases, and I think they brought it up in one of the Conjuring movies where there's a man who actually pled not guilty, but he pled insanity or pled possession basically, and said that.
Wow.
And I remember listening to the case from a podcast, and they're just going over it and how like everyone was saying that he did change demeanor in the house they were in and something happened and he had told him to kill his family or could do something. So he did. And then afterwards he was like, that wasn't me. Like, it's just very interesting. I don't know. There's like different pieces and cases where I'm like, this was documented. People were there. People said this and that. And why would the Catholic Church literally has exorcisms?
It's
like
true.
They do. So you're telling me that the Catholics, they've been around for years.
How come we don't have definitive proof of ghosts or anything?
Because we can't. I think it's one of those things that we'll never have proof of. Because it's not as how we think of the world today. In modern times, ghosts aren't real. Like, from what we say, there is nothing that proves that ghosts are real. So, therefore, currently, scientifically, literally, they are not real right now. So, I think it's hard because how do you prove? Because a lot of times it's things shifting, and I guess you can prove that but maybe cameras, but sometimes you're like, well, is that edited? Like, it's kind of hard the more you keep going, because it's like, I'll even see stuff and I'm like, I don't know about that one. But even possession, like somebody can pretend to be possessed. You cannot prove
it's true.
Somebody's possessed. They could pretend. It could be maybe another mental health thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that are affected.
There's a line between like, is it mental health issues or is it something else? Are they seeing
something? I literally, saw a video, I think it was on TikTok, and this guy was saying that people who are schizophrenic have the same kind of brain makeup or composition as some of the most, like, the highest religious leaders. And they were saying,
what?
Yes. And I don't know if it's proven. I'll have to find it. But there was something, they had like some kind of enlarged, or they had more of this chemical or something. But it was like, people are schizophrenic. They say that they see people, hear things, all whatever, in the more extreme cases. And then they had the people who are, like the spiritual leaders who can, hear the spirits and this and that. Yeah. And they were saying that it's kind of, they find similarities in their brain makeup. So it's like crazy. Schizophrenia, or are they seeing something we really aren't seeing? It's just another dimension that your brain has access to, or is your brain just producing these images to you? I don't know.
Yeah, because of just the way you're genetically made. Because that's kind of what they discuss in this movie, to bring it back a little bit. But like, his dad went to the hospital because he was schizophrenic, and he is like, am I schizophrenic? And did I pass this down to our kids? Is that what's going on? And I feel like that is like the easiest explanation for things that you can't explain. It's like, it has to be something wrong. But what if it isn't? What if it's something that not everybody else can experience? Exactly.
Like, maybe you're just more in tune.
Yeah.
And maybe some people it looks like schizophrenia, but other people it looks like they're the chosen one.
But then it's like dangerous though. It's just like, then you're just like, okay, well, if I am schizophrenic, then I stop taking my medication and then I can see other things. Then it's like, how do you justify that that's real?
I don't know. And then how do you justify if I'm not the person who's schizophrenic, but I'm like, just because they see something, like, it's like, do you believe them? But you can't prove what they're saying. Only they know. So it's like, they could be right in what they're seeing. They could be wrong. Like, you just don't know because you can't see it.
So it's such a tricky thing.
It is crazy.
And like, mediums and people who can like talk to spirits or see things, because like that's what was explored in the second one. It's like the old guy Carl in the second one, he uses dice, but he can also touch things and see like the past of something. So it's like he gets glimpses of things, and people talk about that, like they say that that's what happens to them in real life too. And with Elise in this one, like, she could hear things, she could see things, she could talk to things, like when she had that gas mask on and she was in the further, she was talking to folks. So it's like, how much of that is a possibility. And would you even want to explore any of that?
No.
I mean, if it turns out that I would get possessed, I probably wouldn't pick that either.
Yeah, if it increases my chances of something, I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. But I think it is very interesting.
But
And
once
then-
you open the door, you can't close it.
no, I said, don't do it. Oh, don't do it.
I don't know. It's interesting. And I feel like people always talk about like, oh, well, they're telling us things in movies that are real and blah, 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 blah. They're trying to prime us, which I feel like would be weird.
Aliens.
Yeah.
They are doing that with aliens. Did you see that video? I think it was in America somewhere, but these guys swear that there was like somebody in their backyard. And it was
They called the
actually-
police and
Yes.
like they didn't come?
No, the police did come.
Like eventually. But
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
they took a while.
But they had video footage of them like going in their own backyard, and in the video you can see figures like always like in the background and like moving in the side.
And what would you do in that case?
I'm not in there. I'm not back there. Well, I think they thought they were people, but then when upon like further investigation, it just seemed like a figure. Like they
don't
weren't.
like
they were
that.
human-esque. We'll have to look at it.
like that.
But yeah, but I'm like, is that? But every single time there's footage of this stuff, it's like the shittiest quality ever. Granted, it was at night, so I mean that's different.
That's
but I
true.
just hate. I'm like all this stuff that we have, every UFO sighting, every this and that is the most blurry video I've ever seen in my life.
And that's why it's like, how do we not have proof of anything now? Like all of our technology should be able to capture something in clear vision. Like we should have pictures of Bigfoot by now. We should have pictures of aliens by now. We should have pictures of ghosts by now. But we have nothing, which is kind of wild. But is it just because like we're not going to be able to ever capture these things?
Maybe it's just that thing of nature won't allow it. Like it will always be this unknown, and you cannot fully prove it no matter what we
inexplicable.
do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, aliens, I guess you could prove. Because if
Eventually.
they're here, they're here. You know what I mean, if they roll up,
somebody
on
has
Earth.
the proof.
Yeah, I mean, they say that there's already aliens, and the government has them in their bodies, and blah 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 blah.
But who knows?
But I'm like, I feel like aliens are not making a grand enough entrance if that's the case. Like, I need you to go
come
off.
on. Well, maybe don't.
Go off in terms
Maybe
of like
don't.
when you're crashing to Earth, I need y'all to be very obvious that like this is a spaceship. It's always like some burnt up. We're like, what is that? Or it's like the lights in the sky and everybody's
Yeah.
like, oh, look at these random lights in the sky.
Yeah.
But now the government's like, yeah, drones, don't worry. It's a
Yeah.
drone show. I'm like,
It's a drone
The
show.
drones were the worst thing to ever happen to alien movement because
know.
now all they say is just drone lights.
We
And
can
I'm
explain it with everything. It's a weather balloon.
like, a weather balloon. I said, please be serious.
It's something. It's always something, and it's never aliens. Back to Insidious world. I will say I really liked the aspect of the like time travel-esque, like whenever, what's his name, Dalton?
Yes.
Yeah,
He
when
went
Dalton
back.
gets to go back and see like what happens, and he's seeing his dad like almost like fucking murder him with a hammer.
Well, he actually helps, right? Did that actually happen in the first? You watched the first and second movies, right? So did something actually stop the dad? Oh,
That not like that where he like tackled him. It's like whenever he was about to swing, that's when like in the second one they were able to talk to the spirit that was like kind of possessing him at the time, and they're like trying to free him from his trauma basically. So that's what was going on.
okay. So there was nothing like weird that tackled him, and then it answered our question of what happened.
But what was cool with the second one is like it was explaining some things that happened in the first one. It like had like some kind of like a timeline in that one too, because in the first one there's a moment where somebody's like knocking at the door and they're like, who the hell is that? And so he goes out and checks and there's nobody there, and then he like locks the door, sets the alarm, and then the door opens and like the alarm's going off, and like when you watch the second movie it's him as like when he's stuck in the further, that was him who caused all that to happen.
Gotcha.
So
I
it
remember
was kind
that.
of cool. So it was
So they
like
tried to do that a little bit, but they kind
Yeah.
of not forced it. I mean, I guess he could have did that in another timeline. It doesn't have to be the
that's
original
true.
one.
I think it just wanted to show like, I guess it wanted to show what was happening to him, so it can. I don't know. What was the point of
bring it
us?
back.
What was the point of him seeing what was happening?
I mean, I guess it just brought it back and the trauma. That's why I was like, I think they were trying to hone in on the family dynamics,
They
but it didn't really
definitely
push the storyline.
that's the thing.
But I guess it made sense because that's why the family was
Broken.
so distant and broken,
Yeah.
because they had forgotten. Well, did the younger siblings forget? I don't think they got hypnotized. The mom was just like, no, that was false.
It was just a dream.
No, it was just a dream.
That's what the younger brother was saying. He
He
was like,
was
"Mom
like-
kept telling me that it
It's
wasn't
like,
her."
Dad tried to kill us, and this oldest
She's
one was
like,
like, I
"No."
knew he was evil. I knew there was something off about Dad.
I never liked that man. It was always pro divorce.
Yeah, he was like, I never liked him.
But it was just I think they had some cool concepts, like talking about mental illness, like is it something that's passed down hereditary like with schizophrenia, so or is it demons or is it astral projection or
A
whatever,
little bit of both.
you know,
Little
I
family
like
trauma.
that. I like
A little bit of
that.
that, but I do like how they use astro projecting kind of with that. It
As
was like
that.
sci-fi, a little bit of the, it kind of just makes the possession a little more, like it makes not more sense, but you're like, I can see how that would actually work, especially if you're somebody who's in tune. Then
Yeah. I think Insidious as a franchise could have been good. I feel like the first 2 movies were very solid, and then after that, it just was like, we'll just have fun.
Start doing stuff, yeah.
But the cool thing, I don't know if you know, so James Wan and Lee Winnell are the ones who are behind Insidious, but they also made Saw. And so, like, I was watching the first one, and Patrick Wilson's character is a teacher. And in the first one, like, there's a picture of Jigsaw on the wall, like the puppet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's because they made Saw. And so with this one, I think Lee Winnell and James Wan were, like, producers on the other Insidiouses, but they were also producers on this one that came out. And so Patrick Wilson was talking about how he was nervous about filling in James Wan's shoes.
Yeah, scary.
Because, I mean, Insidious itself, the first one, is pretty iconic.
Everyone loved that movie.
Everyone did. It was just like the music, the way they did things, like it was so shocking and loud, and like the jump scares, like you remember the red face.
Yes, that was like the iconic scene. It was
great,
freaking out. Yeah,
it was so good, and like even rewatching it, like even though I knew the scares were coming, it was still like, this is the moment of history. Wow. This is the greatest moment of scary movies of all time.
Wow.
It's just, I could imagine. And like, he did make it his own in a way. Like, he didn't have the music playing like they did in the first one. And he was talking about how he's had experiences with like directing before, but it's more of like musical theater or like theater, like, you know, with plays and shit, not in the movies. But then he also said that he went to like film school, so he wanted Dalton to go to art school. He has kids, stuff like that, so he's trying to put his own like experience into the movie, which I can appreciate. But it's just like, I don't know if I could see that this was like someone's first time directing or if it was just boring. I don't know. I feel like there's like probably different cuts of this movie where they like took out different scenes, because whenever he saw that man, first of all, violently throwing up in the toilet, I almost started throwing up. That shit was violent.
And he has to do that for the rest of his little soul life. I was like,
so
that's
sad.
crazy.
And it sounded so realistic. But whenever he saw him, he didn't even second guess. He's like, oh yeah, that's a ghost. I'm like, are you not more like traumatized from seeing a ghost for the first time?
He was kind of excited.
He's
I was like,
oh.
you're weird. He's like, I'm gonna go back. But then when he did go back, that's what confused me, because he went back to the kid that died at the frat place, and the kid, he was like, close the door. So I thought that they were going somewhere, like even the spirits know that this is something that's a problem, but they didn't go anywhere with it.
You're right. I don't even think he saw him again after that.
No, it was just it. He's like, I think that he's trying to tell me something. I'm like, that's a big plot twist, that the other like the other spirits who are seemingly either neutral or evil, they're also concerned about the door. Why do they care? You know, I'm just like, what's going on?
Because they want it to be open?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what's going on? Like, somebody has to...
And the fact that like the demon was able to start choking folks out without like possessing anybody, that's kind of wild.
Well, yeah, and she only got saved because somebody was there.
Yeah.
The friend, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just like, I feel like we didn't explain anything.
Yeah, like they were giving us little bits and pieces, and I'm like, you're getting me somewhere, but you're not taking me anywhere, and I don't know where we're going with this, and you're leaving it unanswered, and you're telling me that we're wrapping it up. But it seemed like there's stuff that's going on that we're gonna get to like learn more about the further, and like there's even more going on, and there's even a spiritual hierarchy, and
right? Where they're
evil
like,
even in the spirit world. Yeah, like what's going on? So I think I was just a little bit confused there.
And it's just, can we talk about how they defeated this monster?
Just painting it, and the dad was using his spiritual strength to just hold the door. I was like, this is supposed to be one of the most powerful demons here.
This is it.
It was a little underwhelming. I know it's supposed to be like the power of love. I don't know, but I was just,
First of all, that man don't even like you. The fact that he was like, you got to get out of here. He's like, okay, and just ran off.
He dipped. Maybe he knew what to do. He said, let me get my paints.
Maybe he knew.
Painted the slow. He said, I said, if you don't. He was just brush stroking away. I was like, what if he had like a tiny brush?
Right. He got the smallest brush.
He should just dumped the paint on it. I was like, you're taking too long.
But
how did he know? The painting, I guess the painting came alive. So he's like, I have to destroy the painting.
But the fact that at the end, they said the cheesiest line. She was like, we got to forget about this. We got to burn it. He's like, no, we have to remember, even when the past hurts. I was like,
burn that shit now. This is not the time for this behavior. And yeah, his friend, oh my God, can we talk about, I think her character was so annoying.
She was annoying. And the fact that she stayed, first of all, after all that weird shit was happening, and she was like, let me stay and protect him. She was doing too much.
Like, I like where her character was supposed to be going, but it was so unrealistic. I'm like, nobody would be this, like, I guess she was like comedic relief, but I was not feeling that. It just felt like you did we need her at all? Like, if you just took her out, I don't think the storyline would have been. I mean, she got him to go to the frat party, but he could have gone by himself.
Yeah, it was just,
I don't know. I just didn't think her character was super
It was a lot
needed.
of forced stuff because
It
she
was
was like, tell me
forced a
some
little
weird
bit.
stuff that happened. And that's
Yeah.
when he was like, I was in a coma and I don't remember anything.
She's like, wow, that was crazy. Cool. I'm like, okay. I don't know, like her character. I was like, she's too old to be acting like that. Come on now.
Annoying.
You can have a quirky character
It was
without,
very cringe.
you know, it's like they're trying to make her too quirky and yeah, like I'm just so out there and outgoing and da da da. I'm like, okay, if you just hone her character in
Just a little bit.
just a little bit, just make it a
Tone
little
her
bit more
down.
realistic because
Just
I
a
was just
little.
like nobody. I didn't hate her character, but I think I was just like cringing sometimes. I was like, is this supposed to be funny? Because I just.
It was just, I feel like everything was just kind of done surface level. We didn't really get anywhere with
No.
anybody or anything. We
was
don't know
essentially
anything
the
about
first
the story.
movie.
Yeah.
Except the kid wasn't in a coma.
Yep.
And he was
And-
mad at his dad.
Yep.
It was too much focus on the relationship between the father and the son.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Not a bad, like I like that dynamic, but I think it just left a lot of things kind of fall to the wayside.
That's true. They
by
said
them trying to overly focus
we'll
on
mention
that
on
storyline.
this, but we don't have
Yeah, we'll
to
give hints here and
explore.
there. We're not going to mention the other people, the family. Like, honestly, even having the mom's trauma would be interesting. I could tell in her face when she realized they had to do it again, she was stressed out. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of dynamics going on
We
here.
could have explored that more.
We could have.
It's just like we touched on things. Like, why can't we talk more about their marriage and the falling apart of their marriage
Yes.
because of like she had to hold a secret away from him to protect him.
That's fascinating.
Right. And then like, but also like she don't trust that man anymore. As I wouldn't, he murdered Elise, first of all, choked her out, and then tried to kill you and your whole family. Like I would have divorced him the next day.
Yep.
Sorry, honey. I know you're normal again.
It was a lot.
It's also like The Exorcist. Like whenever her daughter was possessed and was like fucking shit up, like we're putting you up for adoption. Like it's
Sorry.
just we can't
We're
go
gonna
back.
drop you off on an island and run away. You're not coming off this island.
But like the dad, whenever Dylan, I keep calling him Dylan. His name is Dalton. Whenever Dalton and his dad were like arguing, and he was like, the dad was like, "Well, my dad wasn't there, so you're lucky that I'm even here." And it's like,
A
But you're
lot of
not.
people think that. Low key, that's probably the most realistic part of the damn movie. But I'm here though. You complaining for nothing, I'm
right? He's like, "But you're not really here though."
yeah. But it was so funny. I did not get that Dalton was like I knew Dalton was his kid, but for the I completely forgot about the siblings. So I was like, oh, did she get remarried? Like I literally thought those were like his.
A blended family.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
she
like,
had whole-
okay, because he was not concerned about any of the other kids,
And that's
at
how it's
all.
honestly. That's the thing that they kept in sync with the rest of the movies. Because honestly, those other kids are just.
They're there. We don't need them there. They're just there.
I don't
And
know
then-
why they have a family of 3.
No, because I
Five.
literally he just didn't say anything. So Dalton, and I'm like, what about your other kids?
I don't even know their
literally-
names.
They're the ones who remember low key. They
Yeah.
just have been told that it was a lie, but they're like, sure.
I don't
sure,
think Callie
Mom.
does. She was like 2.
That's true. She probably
Uh,
doesn't know what's
this-
going
the
on.
young-
The
the
other
middle
son
son,
was
yeah.
like, we were literally hiding in the basement for our lives. And Mom was like, no, that was a dream. And he was like,
Wasn't.
sure, Mom.
One other thing I wanted to mention is while I was sitting for the end credit scene that I really didn't have to watch was the song that came on was with Patrick Wilson in it. He was singing.
You played it for us.
I did play it for you. And I've been blasting that song ever since. I
You
don't
like
know
it?
why, but I love it. But he did a cover of this song called Stay with the band called Ghost. I don't know if you're on the same side of TikTok that I'm on, but there was a song where they're like, Mariana. But that is Ghost.
That's them as well.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, cool. But yeah, they were already planning on doing a cover of that song called Stay. And Patrick Wilson was like, oh, like he's a fan of Ghost. And he's like, can I be on the song with you?
And then make it part of the movie.
And they
so
did.
it wasn't related to the movie at first.
Not at all. But he was
Oh.
like, it's Josh Lambert's character and the lipstick demon like singing in this song. So like the parts where ghosts are singing, that's supposed to be like the perspective of the lipstick demon.
Is that what his name is? Or
I
you
don't know.
just
That's what
calling him
everybody
Lipstick?
has called him.
Okay. Because I was like, what?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I guess that's what I call him. I don't know if everybody
I was
calls
like,
him.
because he's got red on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see if people Insidious Yeah, lipstick demon. That's what everybody calls
Does he have
him.
lipstick on? I thought it was black around his mouth or something.
I don't know what that picture is. It looks so scary. There he is.
That's terrifying. Where's
But,
the lipstick?
I think it's just I don't know. I think it's just because he's red.
Oh, okay.
I think that's really all it
I don't
comes
think there's
down
any
to.
other lipstick colors, but
Yeah, there's other lipstick colors,
Whatever you
but
gotta do.
whatever. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. The song. I was like, I really liked the song too.
I like how he was able to fangirl and be like, come over here. And
Isn't
they're like,
that kind of
"All right."
cool? That's all the facts I know about this movie. I wanted to look into it because I was really like fascinated with this being not only Patrick Wilson's directorial debut, but bringing back the original cast. That's really cool. So good for
That's
you.
cool. I mean, overall, I think it was a solid film. Like, I don't think it was like bad. So good job.
So what's your score?
Out of what, 5? 2?
Oh, okay.
2 out of 5
That's not bad.
for a horror film.
For a horror film. I originally, like, whenever I first left the theater, I gave this like a 1.5 out of 5.
Okay.
But I really think the environment has something to do with it, because the first 2 Insidious movies are kind of slow. They kind of like build up into like the horror elements. So I feel like if I wasn't in a theater where I felt like I was being like, I don't know, verbally accosted throughout, I don't know, I wasn't really, but you know, it's just like I could feel like he was trying to think of a joke to say in the silence, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel like it's not that bad of a movie. I would maybe give it like a 2.5.
It wasn't definitely not bad. I think but it's also hard to show up as a director coming into a series that's already kind of created.
That's true.
So it's hard to keep it going, keep it interesting, keep the story flowing, and trying to build off of something that was already there. So I think for what it's worth, it's not a bad movie at all.
Yeah.
So I hopefully we'll see some more in the future. Clearly, I mean, maybe it won't be the same family, but I do wish they would expand a little bit more about some of the ideas that they put in the film. So we need to kind of go somewhere with this information. What is this all leading up to?
What is it further?
Where are we going?
doing?
What are we gonna? Yeah. So that would be my only.
Like, it's just kind of wild
advice.
that we're still so much in the dark with the further, and there's been, this is the 5th movie.
Yeah.
Like, unless they I don't think they do, but unless they explore it in the other 2 films, the 3rd one and the 4th one, it's like, how do we still know nothing about this?
Nothing.
Nobody knows anything. That was that. Honestly, Insidious 5, the best thing that came out of it was a song.
There we go.
It's called Stay With Me.
Sam Smith.
I know.
Stay
Every time I
with
can't find like the
me.
right beat for it to sing on my own,
Okay.
because there's something. I also like Rihanna. I want you to stay.
A lot of stays.
There's
That's just
too
like which
many.
cover. Ooh.
But yes, if you like things with lipstick and demons, maybe you'll like our Instagram, because they honestly don't have either, but you might like our Instagram still at Hayley and Kayli. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast, and we have a website at Press Podcast too. For now, I don't know if it's going to be there any much longer, but it's still there currently. But what else do we have?
We also have a YouTube channel. So if you're watching us here right now, thanks
Subscribe.
so much. Like, rate, subscribe, comment, and at Hayley and Kayli. And we also have a email. So if you have any movies you want us to watch, all that other stuff, want the woo,
woo.
you can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com.
Also, let us know.
Let us know.
Let us know down in the comments what y'all thought about this one. Did y'all like this? Are y'all fans of Insidious, or are you more like a Conjuring girl? I think I might be more of a Conjuring
I think
girl.
a little bit so. Yeah.
So, but I still need to rewatch those. I feel like what I really need to do is rewatch some of the movies that I hold so highly in my head,
reevaluate
and see if they're still good. Like, I mentioned Hereditary like probably 20 times, and it's like, is it still good? Do I still even like that movie?
That's a good film.
I need to go back and rewatch it.
Yes.
But the next movie we're gonna be watching is I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life is plastic.
It's fantastic. You can brush my hair. Undress me anywhere. Imagination. Life is your creation. Come on, Barbie. Let's go, Barbie. Ooh, ah, ooh, ooh. Come on, Barbie. Let's go, Barbie. Wah, ah, ah. But I'm actually a Bratz girl.
You're a Bratz girl?
I think I'm more a Bratz girl.
Oh, I always said. Oh, actually, I'm a Polly Pockets girl.
Girl, I used to chew on her clothes.
Me too. There's something about that plastic texture. It was just, oh, it was so good.
Yes, bring her back. We need a Polly Pocket movie.
Ooh, she's so cute, so tiny, and so small.
We really need a Bratz movie. I will watch a movie with a bunch of bad bitches running around doing a bunch of hooligan shit. With those big old feet.
With the big old head.
Yeah, big old head, big old feet. But like a real life one, it's just Bratz girls.
You are a Bratz
fabulous.
girl, for real. You got a big old head and big old feet.
Oh. On that note, thanks, bye.
But yeah, we're watching Barbie next time, so get your Barbie girl on, and we'll see you there. Bye.
But I truly believe that the government, I believe there's aliens. I saw this other video on TikTok.
Uh-oh.
TikTok just
See,
tells me so
TikTok
much.
is a dangerous thing.
I am knowledgeable. But they are former CIA agents, at least self-proclaimed. But one lady made a video, like one of the CIA agents made a video, and then another CIA agent was stitching her video.
I've seen that makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah. So they were going over, questions people had for CIA agents. The first original lady of the video was answering them, and then the lady who was stitching was kind of either agreeing or not, whatever. And the question of aliens, do you believe in aliens? And they both were like, yes. And I was like, they didn't go into it. But they're like, yes, no, I believe in aliens.
But
I said,
isn't that kind of scary? Like,
no,
how
hurry
connected
up.
are we?
It's fucking time. I am sick of waiting. I will be okay. I'm not like these other bums. I'm not going to freak out. Unless they're like 8 feet tall and they're coming back in 10
and they're
years
trying to
to
kill
come
us.
kill us all.
Right.
But also, I probably need to know. But maybe not. Ignorance is bliss. So
That's
I'll
what
just
I'm
live my
saying.
days having a good time. But I would much rather that. I don't know. I just want to know. What do they look like? Where are they? They're here.
Are they us? Are they time travelers?
Are they like infiltrating society? Like I saw this show once and there's like this group of people where stuff kept happening to them, but it turns out they were like the descendants of aliens who had crashed. But I don't know. I'm like, do they look like humans? Could you imagine like a spaceship comes down? It's like,
and it's just us.
just fucking humans coming down. They're like, hey, where y'all from? Oh, yeah. Our planet looks just like this.
It's
Y'all
just a little bit better.
Hey, y'all polluting this shit too? Well, we gotta go. I would be like, that would be a movie. And then they try to come here and take over our Earth.
Yeah, make it better.
That would be a movie.
This probably is somewhere.
Could you imagine? They're not even aliens. It's just another race of us. And they're like, yeah, we had to leave our planet because our planet is trust. Y'all can still be saved. So
y'all gotta go.
Y'all eradicate.
Damn.
And they like release some deadly virus to kill everybody. And then they just take over. And then they fix our Earth because they now have the knowledge and technology to reverse all the damage.
Honestly, not as giving away our script ideas, our movie ideas.
Somebody make that movie.